New at 5, exclusive access to a unique laboratory where explosions are an everyday experience.
The goal is uncovering materials that can save lives.
Physicists and engineers at the University of Rhode Island conduct these experiments for various entities, including the military. They tell us their work has direct ties to fighting the war on terror.
And what they discover can potentially protect soldiers, police, and the rest of us.
Walt Buteau is here with a story you'll see only on Eyewitness News.
The dynamic photomechanics lab is close to one of a kind, and inside they're conducting potentially life-saving research right in your backyard. The powerful blasts do not involve explosives. Even though this University of Rhode Island shock tube looks like the gun barrel of a tank, it's powered by highly pressurized jets of gas
helium gas chambers
that travel at 2 to 3 times the speed of sound. Professor Arun Shukla has run the dynamic photomechanics lab since 1981.
The pressure just jumps up and then it decays slowly. But this is the better, safer way of doing experiments rather than using explosives.
Various types of modern-day composite materials are ratcheted to a bracket at the end of the tube and then hit with helium compressed at up to 2,000 pounds per square inch. A human lung collapses at 60 pounds per square inch of pressure. And while we see fire, shrapnel, and other debris rocket from roadside bombs and other explosions, those catastrophic incidents also create destructive pressure, similar to what the shock tube does. The lab allows researchers to see what different levels of explosions will do to various types of materials.
There are half a dozen places in the world that do these kinds of experiments.
Here's what sets this lab apart from others. Our camera records a blast at 30 frames per second. The cameras here can record at up to 2 million frames per second. We found out that super slow motion video is what is helping researchers develop life-saving material. That part of the story tonight at 6. Walt Buteau, Eyewitness News.
Tonight, exclusive access to a local laboratory that's close to one of a kind.
Explosive experiments are an everyday occurrence in URI's shock lab, but we found out super slow motion video like this is the key to potentially life-saving discoveries. The research in Kingston is all part of fighting the war on terror.
Eyewitness News reporter Walt Buteau with a story you'll see only on Eyewitness News.
Your cell phone records video at 30 frames per second. In the shock lab, the cameras work at 2 million frames per second. This piece of composite was hit with a blast that lasted a fraction of a second.
Did not withstand the
but
shock.
the super slow motion video will allow researchers time to uncover what happened.
Maybe it's
the professor who's run the dynamic photomechanics lab since 1981 says the dots on the composites offer clues.
It will tell them in real time where the damage started, why did it start, strains and stresses.
He tells us terrorism drives a lot of the motivation behind the entities that pay for these experiments. Helium pressurized at up to 3 times the speed of sound creates the destruction instead of explosives. But the goal is to discover how much various types of composites can take.
This is exactly the same piece of material that was subjected to a slightly lower shock than this, and this was able to withstand.
Underwater experiments are conducted in this pressure tank. Materials can be prematurely aged and then put in what simulates up to a half-mile depth of water pressure. Again, the super slow-mo will show what these tubes, similar to what might be used in a submarine or a pipeline, can and cannot take. But whether it's a tube or an explosive blast, the goal is the same: protect people during real-life incidents.
We are trying to create structures and materials that can withstand catastrophic explosions.
Professor Shukla tells us the work in his lab changed drastically right after 9/11. Walt Buteau, Eyewitness News.